I mean, if you're a Bears fan, you're thinking forward progress. Come on.
10, 219, 219.
Forward Progress, a Chicago Bears podcast with Dan Bernstein and Matt Abaticola on 312 Sports.
Let's talk some football. Chicago Bears variety and NFL variety here on Forward Progress, a 312 Sports Chicago Bears podcast. Dan Bernstein, Matt Abaticola. They are descending on Indianapolis, one place where Indiana and the Bears can be in the news without it being silly or stupid. And it is time for, once again, we will be hearing about all of the MRIs, the medicals, the drills, the results, the various teams of executives marching around and muttering to themselves, the interviews, and what is it, St. Elmo's Steakhouse and their supposedly famous shrimp cocktail, and which coaches are reserving which bottles of wine, trying to keep them away from other coaches.
Have you ever been there?
I've not. And it's fine because I used to kind of want to. I've been to other independent steakhouses. You know, you get to the back of the Airplane magazine and you'd see the ad for like independently owned steakhouses. I'm like, boy, maybe I can go to all these. I'm over it now. I just the moment I saw them now sponsoring like a halftime horseradish eating contest brought to you by St. Elmo's Steakhouse, I'm like, I'm good.
No, man, I like shrimp cocktail. I've had really good shrimp cocktail. I've made really good shrimp cocktail at home, but it's not like I'm not going to go to a steakhouse specifically to have shrimp cocktail.
You're also in the middle of Indiana. It's not like they're going out of their backyard and harvesting shrimp right there.
Well, unless it's near the new Bears complex.
You know what I mean, though? I get it. If it's like, hey, when I was in Alaska, and they said this is fresh salmon, and it's coming right out of that river over there, you're gonna want to get this salmon, like absolutely.
Right. Or if you're in the Northeast and it's like, oh, you want to have some lobster, you're probably in a good spot to get some good lobster.
Right. I'm not going to Indianapolis to have shrimp. It comes in some box of frozen stuff, and
unless there's something about Indiana shrimp I'm unaware of. Yeah,
like Bourbonnais eggs. Remember?
That's right. Yes. Local specialty.
Specialty. Like, oh, hey, you know, when you're in Bourbonnais, do not miss the eggs. They're great, especially the hotel eggs. They're the local specialty.
Oh, yeah. Well, anyway, the NFL Combine taking place, and it's obviously it's always a big year for the Bears, but this year in particular, with what we've talked about, with what they were able to accomplish in their draft class, and if they're able to duplicate what they did in the rookie draft class of 2026 with what they did in 2025 would be significant, which is why we've talked about not trading these picks and using these picks to bring in guys that are going to impact this upcoming season, not 3 years from now.
Right now.
This year.
Right. And the most important thing to me, this is what I think needs to be really clear as they get their bags and they head to their hotels, whatever they're going to do. Maybe they all get a house. That'd be cool if they all just rent a house together and it's like Score House where they have the whole Bears Brain Trust living there. The sitcom music plays and they're all just, they come and
so
go.
Who'd be there? You'd have Kevin, George, Ben,
Ryan Poles.
You have Dennis Allen.
Jeff King, man. Jeff King's excited to be there. Yeah, he's got the better room this year. He's got the king-size bed now because he's Jeff King.
So one of those guys is like the house cook. Who would that be, do you think?
It's probably Dennis Allen, but grudgingly because he did it in the Army or something.
I was thinking George, maybe. I think George would love to put an apron on and
one of my famous French toast.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
mom's recipes.
Yeah, he's known for his famous French toast.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, though, go to Ben Johnson and say, "What do you need? You're the head coach of the Bears. I want to know, what are we looking at? And we will take, if I'm Ryan Poles and all of my scouts, all my peeps, I'm taking my marching orders from you, because communicating needs is the essence of making this all work right. I don't want to say, well, scout everybody, see who's good, set your board. No. I want them to go in with a plan to say, we need edge or we need defensive tackles. We need a left tackle because we don't think that Ozzie Trapillo is coming back, and we don't like Benedict, and we don't like Braxton Jones, whatever it may be. Or if Ben wants to say, talk to DA. Last year was my draft. This year, I don't know anything about defense. Go to Dennis, and Dennis is going to order off whatever menu he's got there. And Dennis will be like, you know what? I'd really like another versatile linebacker who we can move around a little bit. We definitely are going to need another safety no matter who we re-sign. And I need a tackle and I need an edge. Know what you want and how you want to do it, what part of this the draft is going to be, and plan it accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
And if Dennis Allen wants it, really, you're letting me do this? If you're here's my wish list. Here it is. Go tell me what we got. Where are we deep? What can I get?
Yeah, it's interesting. Along those lines, some more mock drafts have come out. I've been trying to track these as they come out and go through on different websites. Gennaro Felice on NFL.com released his first mock draft, and he has the Bears at 25 taking Caden McDonald.
I'm seeing a lot of your Toledo kid, the safety Emmanuel Warren. McNeil.
Yeah, I want to bring him up in a second here. Blake Brockemeyer, his first draft, he has Zion Young at the Bears, which, of course, Matt Miller likes.
Yep.
But, yeah, I wanted to bring up Emmanuel Warren only because Bucky Brooks on NFL.com had a little extra piece on Emmanuel Warren talking about how he might be he might actually be the best safety in the draft. That's actually what he said. I know they're talking about the kid out of Ohio State, Caleb Downs, but he might be a little underappreciated because of the fact he went to Toledo and looking at the competition in the MAC. But he's talking about he has the ability and the size to be a playmaker, to get after the ball, but also to play run too, to play against the run a bit. So he wouldn't be surprised if he ends up being the best safety in this draft class. And so I wanted to highlight that only because his name keeps coming up more, and we saw his name associated with one of the mock drafts for the Bears, Emmanuel Warren, safety, senior out of Toledo.
That and Zion Young are the two names that I've seen the most that have been jumping out at me. But I have not done a ton of research yet. I am really looking forward to seeing who looks good and who's running what. But as unsexy as it may be, let's not lose sight of the most important aspect of the combine, and that's the medicals. That's it. That is... You've got to get a clean bill of health. You have to know exactly if there is any issue, exactly what you're getting and what your plan is for what you're getting. It doesn't mean you have to draft guys that all have a pristine history without any injury whatsoever. It means you better know. It means there's none of these Bo Nix type of surprises like we had with Sean Payton. Like, I didn't know you had that many surgeries as a kid. This is your opportunity for no excuses when it comes to the resources that you're bringing into the organization.
Yeah, and so the five names I've seen the most so far in these mock drafts, and again, that's just all they are, but Zion Young, Caden McDonald, Emmanuel Warren, Bain, what is he, a linebacker edge out of
Miami?
Yeah.
I've seen both of the names out of Miami.
And then Dylan, I'm again, his name, the safety from Oregon. I don't know if it's Thieneman or Theinman. I've seen, sure, so those are the five names I've seen the most in these mock drafts at 25 for the Bears. So you have an edge, a tackle, two safeties, and an edge linebacker hybrid guy.
I'm good with anything defensive in this draft. I think last year was the offense draft. I'm just guessing. I'm broad brush presuming here that was Ben coming, smashing his way into the saloon and this is I'm laying it down right now. This is what we're doing here. This is how things are being handled. There's a new sheriff in town. And then this year might be, all right, now we got to look at all of this. We've got a year into this roster. We got a better understanding of how we want to play, and our defense was our downfall.
Yep. Yeah, and I'm still curious. I'm not going to let it go what they're going to do at left tackle. I want to know what the plan is for left tackle.
I don't think they know. I don't.
I mean, well, Ozzie Trapillo won't be ready for the start of the season.
No, he may not be ready at all. He may be done.
He may not play the upcoming season. So I want to know what the plan is at left tackle, what their thought process is, if that's something they want to address in free agency or if they're going to try to address it in the draft, because they don't have it in-house right now. They just don't, and they showed you that in their last playoff game.
Speaking of free agency, I thought we would take a look here at the NFL top 100 free agents as set by Pro Football Talk.
Okay, so the top 100 NFL free agents.
Right.
Okay.
And before we get into the actual names here and see where the Bears might be able to find somebody here, and I will tell you that offensive tackle is not great.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think? I will tell you there are 3 Bears in the top 100. Can you name them and some idea of where they are? Who do you think is the very first Bears free agent listed on their top 100?
I'm going to go with not who I would rank in order, like 1, 2, 3 in order, but I'm going to say what they have. I'll say Nahshon Wright.
Correct.
Okay.
Nahshon Wright, Bears cornerback Nahshon Wright is ranked 33rd. Jaquan Brisker, Bears safety, is 41st.
And then Kevin Byard?
At 53.
Okay.
And then there's just a lot of other various familiar names at various stages of aging and effectiveness and all the ranges they're in. Number 1 is George Pickens of the Cowboys. Daniel Jones is 2nd. Ravens center Tyler Linderbaum is 3rd. Jags linebacker Devin Lloyd, then Trey Hendrickson, then Kyle Pitts. Rounding out the top 10 is Colts receiver Alec Pierce, Chiefs corner Jalen Watson, Jets running back Breece Hall, and Packers QB Malik Willis. And now you say, where's the first tackle? Offensively, it is Packers tackle Rasheed Walker. Then it's the Colts Braden Smith. You notice that there's no Braxton Jones anywhere on this entire list.
Well, I mean, rightfully so. I mean, I think his free agency outlook was impacted by what the Bears did.
Yep.
I mean, I think that's all you need to see if you're an organization.
He had
you look
every
at that
shot.
and say, yeah,
every shot at that job. And I will say what's interesting here is one of the free safety names that's been linked to the Bears is one that was on our televisions as their season ended, Rams safety Cameron Curl. And he is directly behind Jaquan Brisker. They're 41 and 42, Brisker and Curl.
Okay. Yeah, because that's a name that I've seen associated with the Bears free agent market is Cam Curl.
Yep. There is one that's a little intriguing here.
Who's that?
That for the right price, I would bring Khalil Mack back. Okay.
All right. Well, let's talk about that because I wanted to talk about that with you about edge rushers because I read a nice piece from Ben Solak on ESPN, and he kind of says in the opening paragraph, it's a good year to need an edge rusher, but it's a bad year if you want an elite dude, unless you're willing to part with like 2 first-round picks for Max Crosby. So he obviously has Trey Hendrickson as the best available edge rusher, looking at anywhere from 21 to 25 million per year on a 2-year deal. On the very high end, a 3-year, $99 million deal. I just don't know if I want to pay that kind of money. There's another guy who he brought up, Joey Bosa, who I am not at all interested in. I'm not at all interested. But Khalil Mack is a guy I wanted to ask you about. If that is legitimate in my brain, or is this me being the super fan, Bears fan, loved Khalil Mack in a Bears uniform? My only time at Lambeau was his first game in a Bears uniform. And there's some effect there. It's in my brain, and I saw it with my own eyes.
I get it.
So am I being realistic? Or, because they're looking at him as what the projections are on a 1-year deal, $14 million guaranteed, and he's projected at around 50 pressures and around 8 sacks. Is that realistic for me to desire that, or am I just being the super fan and that's not the smart thing to do?
It's usually a bad idea for somebody on whom you are counting to be a full-time player close to the peak of his abilities. If I'm being really honest about my expectations for a 35-year-old Khalil Mack, it's to be pretty good. And that's what I want to pay. That I think it's possible that you could get a reasonable deal for whatever he is now. And I just trust his availability. I trust how he stays in shape. And the fact that that even he's so talented that I would think even an eroded Khalil Mack from his best, he's got, like you say, somebody lost a step. Some people have more steps to lose than others.
Yeah.
And I would love to bet on an inexpensive, being the key, an inexpensive late career bump from him, just because I trust how hard he's going to work, the example that he's going to set. I don't even know if DA would think that he's an ideal fit for what they do.
Right.
But I know what he can do, and I've seen it not work. Generally, that I'm against this. It would have to be a very, very, very special player. And part of it is this too, is because when it's Richard Dent, who I saw come back at this age and be bad, he was all speed. He was all that, the being able to run at an angle and be close to the ground. That Mack is speed and strength.
Yeah, he is.
And strength doesn't age as poorly as speed. So I think he's just his leverage, his jujitsu and his understanding of using somebody's strength and size and angles against them is so advanced that I would be willing to bet on him staving off the inevitable to a relatively effective degree.
Yeah, I think at a $12 to $14 million contract, now fully guaranteed, that seems pretty reasonable for me, for a guy who's going to be part of a rotation. Now, I don't think you can't have him as one of your two main guys. And I think if they're going to take the approach of looking at a room of edge rushers to rotate through with Montez Sweat and with Booker, and if Mack would want to come back and he desires that, to have a chance to win a championship and compete for something in the NFC. And then you still have Odengbo too under contract. I mean, and not that I'm thrilled about that, because I didn't see much of anything last season before the injury. But if you're looking at a rotation of guys, and if you're not needing Mack to be out there as a full-time player, but part of a rotation, and maybe they swap sides around, maybe they do things where you can move Sweat inside and put Mack on the left, and you got Booker on the right and have Mack on the left sometimes, and Mack is out. Like, there's different things you can do. Like, would you be comfortable with that? Because to me, I'm not opposed to seeing an opportunity to bring Mack back for 1 year.
Me either. And I'd love him in the room. Just him being there.
Along with a draft pick.
Yeah.
As well as you have
Shemar
Turner
coming back.
Yes. Yep. And you're gonna replace Andrew Billings with another body. I wouldn't be opposed to it as opposed to going out and trying to get Trey Hendrickson here at a 2-year deal worth $50 million.
No. That kind of money's insane. The only reason I'm talking about, the reason why Mack changes my thinking regarding something like this, is because I do think that you might not have to overpay. If in fact he did enjoy his time here, if in fact he liked living here, if in fact he does really think the Bears are close to winning something, that he could pick his spots a little bit and say, hey, where do you see yourself in this game? What matchup do you want? When do you want to be out there? What side do you want to be on? You want your hand on the ground or not? And let him have a little agency in it, a little bit of control. You may be able to offer him some things that are beyond money.
Yeah. So so that's why I wanted to ask you. Like, am I being a fan, or am I being realistic with the possibility of it?
I think you're being look. You know that I try to not be too fanboy led when it comes to my Bears decision. So yeah, I brought it up.
Yeah, so we'll have to see if he wants to stay with the Chargers, because I think the Chargers are going to make an attempt to bring him back for one more year, or if he would be willing and open and evaluate the situation and say, all right, year 2 with Jim Harbaugh and Justin Herbert, and you have Mike McDaniel there now as an offensive coordinator. Do I want to stay here and try to win this championship, which, my clock is ticking on my career, or do I feel like the Bears, who won their division, was that legitimate? Is that realistic to repeat something like that, get back in the playoffs? Do I have a better chance there to win for a one-year deal?
I think it's a fair question. I think it's certainly worth investigating. So, yeah, get after it.
So the Cowboys also made a deal over the weekend, too, where they extended running back Javonte Williams. I think a 3-year, $24 million deal. $16 million of that was guaranteed. And I started with that contract extension. I wanted to look at DeAndre Swift, and what we've been talking about DeAndre Swift the last couple of weeks. So just in comparison, Swift is 27.
Okay.
Williams is 25. I didn't think he was 25. 5 seasons of running back. Swift with 6. And DeAndre Swift is at $8.8 million for this year. So you're looking at Williams at 3 years, $24 million, $16 million guaranteed. He had a better, as far as production's concerned, rushing and receiving and touchdowns, Williams had a little better year than DeAndre Swift. Is it something that the Bears could do to restructure? Would he be open to a restructure to stay with the team? I think it gives a good starting point of where a guy like Javonte Williams and his production, what he's earning, and where DeAndre Swift is at just under $9 million for next year.
Yeah, and obviously the first thing you need to answer before you go down that road is, what's your backup plan? And I don't think they want to hand this over just to Kyle Monangai. I know I wouldn't. I'd like Kyle Monangai, but I don't think that he's a bell cow kind of back in the pass game and the run game and everything else they want of him, nor do I think he's got the kind of home run speed that Ben Johnson wants. So as a complimentary piece, a number 2 guy, he's great, and you've got him on that rookie deal. So if there is somebody who is a higher level of talent that is slightly less expensive, you think about it. You want to look at the running backs on this list, because Breece Hall is that name that keeps coming up.
Yeah, but and we have to, and like the question is, what do the Bears think of Kyle Monangai? Like it's their evaluation of Monangai that's going to dictate what they want to do. If they feel like he is a guy that could be their main primary running back, we talked last week about Kenny Gainwell coming out of Pittsburgh, who's a guy that would be a really inexpensive option as a complimentary piece.
And doesn't have too much of a workload that has accrued. Let me just give you the other names on the list that I have in front of me while we can get a range of running back possibilities here as far as availability.
Do they have numbers there, possible numbers for Breece Hall?
They don't. They just have the names. So number 9, the first running back that's listed is Breece Hall at number 9 overall. I love, but I don't see the Jets letting him get away. Well, do you see the Seahawks letting Kenneth Walker get away? Because he's number 14. And even though he can't catch, he is one of the best pure runners in football right now.
I don't right now.
Then you've got Travis Etienne of the Jags at 24th. Does he do anything for you?
He's fine.
Anything? Yeah, that's kind of where I am. Got the same thing on that. Like most of these guys, you start thinking about, all right, he's good. I'm not paid. You've got Rico Dowdle of the Panthers.
I just like his name.
Rico Dowdle.
I just like Rico.
Broncos J.K. Dobbins.
Okay.
And then we've got Rachaad White of the Buccaneers. I do like him.
Yeah, you do.
I like Rachaad White. Ooh. Now that's interesting to me. And the last running back on here is the other Falcons back, Tyler Algier, who runs mean.
Mean, yes.
Angry, mean. He runs into guys like hair on fire style of running, which usually means short career.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd be willing to pay what Breece Hall, if he would become available, what he's going to command.
Nope. Well, let's see what they look like at this combine. Let's see, because there's going to be a lot of inexpensive possibilities, and we'll see what they think. I don't think it's going to be a high priority, but neither was Kyle Monungai.
Right.
Like, it's end of draft. Oh, there's this guy. Yeah, we'll bring him in. Couldn't believe he was on the board. Unbelievable. We didn't think we'd ever
again,
have a chance
we'll have
at
to
him.
see what the Bears, like how the Bears evaluate Kyle Monungai for their projections. And I think that will determine a lot of what they can do. And if it's a matter of trying to restructure DeAndre Swift, if he'd be open to that, to want to stay and compete for another division title and get into the playoffs, or if he's like, hey, this is where I'm at, and if they feel like they could add someone different and still be very productive in the run game with that offensive line and save some money on top of it too.
And it may be that that's the best season Kyle Monungai has as a Bear.
You're right.
It may just be that, and he had, look, the game against the Bengals, the game against Philadelphia, there were all sorts of really cool things that happened, and maybe it's because of the way he was deployed as a part of a 1-2 punch with DeAndre Swift. And it might just be that they maximized the guy who was, fresh-legged, first-year pro, doing everything that was asked of him, and that's okay. But all that matters is knowing what you have and not expecting too much from it, not expecting too little. Get an accurate assessment of how good your own guys are right now, which is probably the most important thing you can do when it comes to the combine and free agency.
Yeah, one last thing I want to bring up with you, something that happened a couple days ago in the NFL. Rondale Moore, Vikings wide receiver. I think he was on a couple different teams, but last year had a significant knee injury, and was it the preseason? I can't remember if it was early in the season, the preseason that cost him his entire season. But Rondale Moore found dead in his garage by an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Yeah, it's awful.
It is awful. It's an awful story. He's 24, 25 years old. And I wanted to use this story as an opportunity to talk about communications that we receive. Pretty much, it seems like once a day, and maybe you get more that don't include me on emails. Mm-hmm. But within our community here that we're building at 312 Sports, and I really love the fact that we're building a brand new community. We're 6 months in, and listeners are referring to it as a community, and I don't want to just, use the term listeners anymore. I want to start using that term community, because it's really important. As stupid as what it is that we do, it's really important to people that listen. And I love hearing those emails. And like I said, I get at least one email a day where people talk about how they're dealing with their own mental health issues.
And I get it too, not just via email, but also via messages on more so on Blue Sky and Instagram now.
As I say, I'm sure that you get more. But I wanted to take the opportunity to talk about how I appreciate people sharing with us. Some people get a little detailed in their struggles, which is great. If you feel that you want to do that, we're here to listen and to be a part of that. If you just want to share more of a general overview that you've had some issues or you're going through things, we're here to receive that as well too. And the number of times where people say, hey, I'm glad that it's finally okay that I can share with other people that I'm not okay as a man. And I'm glad that we're getting away from this stereotype of men can't, express that they're not okay. Another area, and I don't want to derail too deeply into it, I want to stay on the mental health stuff, but another area, and it's bothered me for a long time, Dan, listening to sports talk radio and being a part of it, is when we talk about men's physical health issues, especially around ED, mm-hmm. like let's take away that. Let's start like chipping away at that stereotype too, because all these commercials are like, oh, you get to have these meetings in secret, and you don't have to go to a doctor, and you can do it without seeing a dude. It's a medical condition.
It's sent with discreet packaging. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Like it's a medical condition. Like, let's stop making something out of it, because it's just a medical issue that millions of people deal with. So let's start working on that as well too. That when a guy has a medical issue, it's okay to talk about it and go to a doctor.
Well, mental health is also a medical issue that can also be helped tremendously by proper medication.
Right. So I just want to say, like, let's start working on that too. Like, let's take that whole taboo topic away too. It's a medical issue. It's okay to deal with it and talk about it. That's what we should be able to do. But sticking with the mental health stuff on the heels of Rondale Moore and the apparent, suicide, it's just if you need people to reach out to, we are here to listen. If you don't feel like you have someone, and we've said this before, just shoot the email. If you want a response, great. If you don't, just say that and just say, hey, I'm just here right now, and I'm the most comfortable I feel is just getting this off my chest. Then go ahead and do that. That's why we're here. And I love that we have this community that's growing and developing where people are comfortable to do that because it's so important. And just being able to have someone to talk to can really make a difference.
I want to mention that there are all kinds of services in and around Chicago for support for such things. And if you are experiencing any kind of mental health crisis, if you need to call or set up a chat, there is the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. It's 24/7. And you can call or text just 988, or there's a chat at 988lifeline.org. It's for you. It is also if you're worried about a loved one who might need crisis support. And the goal of 988 on the phone is to help somebody get these resources over the phone. And if there is immediate danger, if there is additional support, the 988 call takers they're able to talk to mobile crisis providers who can be activated. Their crisis teams who can respond, certainly across Chicago. But don't wait. That you want to make sure, better safe. And if you are concerned about someone or concerned about yourself, 988 is that literal lifeline. But just be aware. The other thing you can do is ask people how they're doing and listen when they answer. Just something as simple as, how are you? And you doing okay? Little check-ins like that on people you care about. And maybe you expand your circle of care a little bit and just and redefine how that is. But if you are worried, somebody you haven't talked to in a while, somebody you haven't heard from, or that has been going through some stuff, just check. And sometimes that's really, most of it is just finding out, being there enough to care. And I always say this, when you do send in some of these things and say, hey, I've got to get this off my chest, and whether it's a voice message that you send via the app or a written message, it gets heard, it gets read. I do my best to reply to everything, but I do think it's really important, and it is a fundamental piece, I think, of what we're doing here at 312 Sports. And it isn't, we talk about men because that's our primary demographic as we understand, but it's anyone. It doesn't really, it's not so much gendered in my mind. You are who you are, and whatever it is, that there are people who care about you. There are people who want you to be okay, and it's hard to be okay. I also would urge you to check out the group Rebecca's Dream. I'm proud to have done work for them, and I know that they have been intrigued by some of the stuff that we have been doing early on. They always talk about how it's okay to not be okay. So the Rebecca's Dream Foundation is here, based in Chicago, and they do wonderful work, especially with some younger people. So if you've got kids in junior high or high school that may have some negative feelings or are moving through some things in that regard, I would reach out to them. But again, 988 is always there for you.
And thank you for being a part of our community and for adding to our growing community and for sharing. And I love that people feel comfortable to reach out to us. So keep doing that. And thank you for being here. On another note, on the football side of things, if you want more talk on Chicago Bears Stadium, we talked about that at length on Dan Bernstein Unfiltered earlier today. So check out that podcast or YouTube channel as well to get more on our thoughts and take on the current Bears situation and what Dan expressed about it earlier today, which I really enjoyed. So take a listen to that if you want stuff on the stadium. And then one last thing I want to leave you with, something on a lighter note. I got this in the mail, and you probably are wondering why I've been humming a lot today during the pre-recording and in between shows.
Yeah, during all our meetings, all the pre-show meetings, you were humming the entire time.
Then I was humming just an old-fashioned love song. Has really been on my brain, only because this came in the mail, Dan, and I wanted to share this with you.
Yeah. Wait. Why is Jay Zawoski in Three Dog Night?
Wait, where?
Dude.
Oh my God, it is Jay Zawoski. What in the hell? When did Jay Zawoski join?
That is unbelievable.
That is Jay Zawoski.
Did he replace the lead singer who just died?
He may have.
And he didn't tell us?
And why is the drummer so young looking and happy? Why is he so happy?
I don't know. Maybe he got extra dogs.
Everyone else looks very serious and rock and rolly.
Yeah, but Chuck Negron just passed away. We weren't told that Jay Zawoski came in to replace him.
Wow, we buried the lead. Jay-Z, why aren't you telling us, bro?
Wow. That's
really
so
funny.
cool.
So Three Dog Night, they're playing March 13th at the Genesee.
Yeah.
Here in Waukegan. I don't know, you wanna see if we can hit it up?
I'm down.
You interested in hearing Joy to the World and Mama Told Me Not to Come? I still have questions about that song.
Mm-hmm.
Randy Newman.
Mama Told Me Not to Come. Yeah.
The Spinners, the Miracles are going to be there in March. The Ohio Players.
Wow.
Are you interested on Saturday, March 7th? I can't go to this one. I got a wedding, but John Oates will be at Genesee.
I'm good.
You sure?
Yeah.
There's some tribute shows coming up. One Night in Memphis. Does that do anything for you? A Phil Collins tribute. Now, here's one I'm actually interested in. Saturday, March 21st, Bee Gees Gold. A Bee Gees tribute.
I'm okay.
You're okay? And any of these, besides Three Dog Night and Jay Zawoski, they do anything for you?
If I get to see Jay Zawoski, because he can play the guitar. That's the thing.
Oh, I didn't know he was a guitar player.
He took lessons from our guy, right?
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know this.
Yeah,
wow, I feel like I don't even know Jay anymore.
Yeah, I think it's all at jayzawoskirockstar.com.
Okay.
It may not be. I might have made that up. But yeah, our guy Greg Overtone, I think, really was great. Jay Zawoski's guitar instructor. Now apparently Jay Zawoski has joined Three Dog Night.
It's really him.
Look at that picture. You didn't think that when you said, "Look at that."
Well, I didn't really look at it. I was just so excited to
pull it back a little bit. I want the camera to autofocus on it.
Let's see. Wait,
he looks good.
He does look good. Looks like a real rock and roller.
Well, he is.
He looks like he's got like a Western shirt on with the pearl snap buttons.
Proud of him.
I wonder, like, why is this guy too?
Way.
Like, why is this guy right here? Why is he sitting on top of the drum set? Like, he's too high up.
He is way up there, isn't he?
Like, get off the drum set, bro.
Maybe it's the end of the concert where he stands on his stool and then jumps out.
See, I think by this picture, I think he's actually sitting on the drummer's left hand.
Or it's like the guy from
that
Def Leppard
might be somewhere.
No, whoa! It's the Def Leppard drummer.
Oh, why is he so happy though?
Yeah, I wouldn't be happy if I had to play the drums with one arm, but I don't know.
All right, hey, movie recommendation for you too. You need to see Song Sung Blue. My parents loved it. Okay, we watched it Saturday night, late Saturday night. We started it thinking we wouldn't finish, and we both loved it too. It was really entertaining and tragic and comical all at the same time. You know, my memories of Neil Diamond, when we used to carpool to grade school. With Neil Diamond? No, well, pretty much. Okay. So my whole schema around Neil Diamond music is that more than one of the moms that did the carpooling, whether it was an 8-track, there were several 8-track decks in these cars. And we were talking, these are some sweet rides here. These are like your big Buick Regals and, Chevy Monte Carlos. There was, one of the diesel Mercedes that would, you always knew when like the well-appointed cars that come pick you up and take you to school. It was either Neil Diamond or Barry Manilow. Two of my favorites. When I hear these songs, when I hear the actual Song Sung Blue or the other stuff from that era, like big, hair-sprayed Neil Diamond and the classic Manilow, that's what I just imagine sitting in the back of a car. It may or may not smell like cigarettes, depending on which mom it is.
and you're heading to Walden School for the day and back.
Man, if I was a kid in that carpool, I wouldn't have gotten out of the car.
Because you'd just be tooling around.
Yeah, loving the music.
Yeah, I'm staying.
Like, I'll just spend the day with you. Especially if it was like a hot mom.
Sorry,
be good.
Mrs. Siegel. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mrs. Slotke. We're hanging out here. We're just going to listen to more of this.
Yeah, you guys probably wouldn't let me in your carpool, though. Too Italian. Yeah.
You just couldn't? You wouldn't be there?
You guys wouldn't allow me to.
I don't know, but my parents wouldn't say exactly why. They'd make up some other reason.
Yes.
Probably. Say,
his stinky salami sandwiches.
No.
Too smelly in the car.
He's been very ill. And
we can't have him around us.
Yes, we can't. He's that young man. He's a nice young man. He just has a horrible disease and can't be in the car.
Yeah,
we're worried. We're worried he's going to steal the car.
Yeah.
God,
that would be it. Yeah.
Sell it for parts.
Yes.
I think one of his friends lives in Highwood, and he's going to take the car to Highwood and strip it down and sell it for parts.
100%, I would have done that.
Yeah,
for sure. All right, so I thought you might be interested in Three Dog Night featuring Jay Zawoski.
I'm featuring Jay Zawoski.
Yeah, and
I'm pissed that he kept that from us.
Yeah, I am too. I'm going to reach out to him when we're done here. And if you're listening to our podcast here, it's a mailer that I got, the Genesee Theater here in Waukegan. I get these sent to my house. Yeah, and so it's a flyer with all their upcoming shows, and then the cover of it is Three Dog Night. Beautifully done artwork, and with guitarist Jay Zawoski, part of Three Dog Night, former SCORE colleague.
Mm-hmm. Good for him. Special times, aren't they?
Exciting.
All right, well, that'll do it for this edition of Forward Progress, a Chicago Bears and NFL podcast on 312 Sports.
Forward Progress has stopped. 10, 219, 219.
Forward Progress, a Chicago Bears podcast with Dan Bernstein and Matt Abatacola on 312 Sports.